Hi there, welcome to edupediaworld.com. You're watching the videos on linear equations in two variables. So in this video we'll discuss how we can solve linear equation using graphical method. In the previous videos we have discussed how we can solve linear equation using algebraic way, but in this video we'll discuss how to solve the linear equation by graphical method. So again at the end of the video we'll discuss some of the advanced questions and concepts which are very important from the exam point of view. So we follow the same strategy over here. We'll explain each and every concept through the example. So let's get started with our first concept, which is introduction to graphical solution of linear equation in two variable. Now so far you have observed that algebraical solution of linear equation have infinite solution. Similarly, graphical solution of linear equation also have infinite solution, but there is only one difference, that we use Cartesian system to solve the equation. Now, so again we'll take one example and then we'll discuss how we can solve that linear equation through graphical method. Suppose we are given with an example that we have an equation x plus y equals to 4. So we'll discuss step by step how we can solve through graphical method of linear equation. Now suppose we are given the equation x plus y equals to 4. The first step is we have to use hit and trial method, or you can say we have to assume the value, or we have to assume the value of any variable. Any variable means any variable. Any variable means we have to either assume the value of x or y. Then we have to find at least 3 values of each variable so that we can draw the line. So let's discuss this example. First step is we have to use hit and trial method or assume the value of any variable. Suppose we have an equation x plus y equals to 4. Now let's take x equals to 0. So from the corresponding taking the value of x, what we get the value of y is, we get y the value of 4. So we got our first value. If we assume x equals to 0, we'll get y as 4. Then for more representation purpose, or you can say for easier representation, we'll make a box again as we have done in previous videos also. We'll represent the values over here. We'll write x, we'll write y. So first value is x is 0 and y is 4. Now suppose in the next values we suppose we take y as 0. What we get is that we get x as 4. Now in the next value we have taken y as 0. From the corresponding value we have got x as 4. So this means our second value is 4 and y is 0. Now suppose for the third value we take x as 2. So what we'll get is 2 plus y equals to 4. So y is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So what we'll get is value as x and 2 and y as 2. Now we have got the values of x and y. Now what we'll do is we'll draw the graph for this. We'll draw the Cartesian methods. We'll use the Cartesian method. Now suppose this is the line. Now this is the Cartesian method. This is y, this is y dash, this is x dash, and this is x. Now this is origin. We will draw the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll draw values 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here it will come -1, -2, -3 and -4. Here it will come -1, -2, -3 and -4. So our first value is x is 0 and y is 4. So x is 0 and y is 4. So the value will be this one. So the point is this one. Let me use another pen. Okay, now the value is this one. Now we got the first point. Next point is x as 4 and y as 0. Means y should be 0 and x is 4. So this will be the value. Now the third value is x as 2 and y as 2. So y as 2 and x as 2. So this is the point. So in the final step, what we'll do is we'll draw the line. We'll draw the line to draw these 3 points. So we got the equation x plus y equals to 4. So this is our equation. So this is how we use the graphical method to solve to get a solution of linear equations in two variables. Now further we will discuss some of the examples and questions so that it can become more clear to you how we can use further the concept of graphical solution. Now in this example, the example is x plus 2y equals to 6. Now in this example again we have to solve this linear equation using the graphical method. Clearly, by assuming the values, we have to find the values of x and y, at least 3 values, but in this example we have found 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if we suppose x as 0, we'll get 0 plus 2y equals to 6. So 2y equals to 6 and y is 3. So you can clearly see that the first value is, if we have suppose taken the x as 0, we got the value of y as 3. So similarly we can find rest of the values by assuming the any variable. Then again using the Cartesian system as drawn over here, we'll plot the points. Suppose this point is 0, 3, this is 2 and 2, this is 4, 1 and this is 6, 0. Now we have drawn the points and we'll extend the line straight. We'll use a straight line to join all these points to get an equation of x plus 2y equals to 6. Means now this lines, what this is mean is that this line, this straight line, represent the equation x plus 2y equals to 6. So this is the general form of graphical representation of linear equations in two variable. Now let us discuss what are observations from this question. We have 3 observations which are mainly important to discuss. The first is every point whose coordinates satisfy the equation lies on AB. Means suppose if we take A as coordinate, it will come out to be x as -3 and y as 4. Means the coordinates will be -3 and 4. What the first point is trying to say is that this point -3 and 4 is also the solution of the equation. This point is also a solution of this equation. So every point, it can be any point, it can be this point, it can be this point, it can be this point. Any point which lies on line AB is a solution of the equation x plus 2y equals to 6. Now the second point is every point AB on a line AB gives a solution x equals to A and y equals to B. As we have discussed, if the point -3 and 4 lies on this line, this means this is a solution of this equation. Now the third point is any point which does not lie on AB is not a solution of equation. Now suppose this is a point. If we take this as a point, like this point, this is a point. Now this point is, we have x as -2 and y as 1. Means we have x as -2 and y as 1. So the point is minus 2 and 1. Now this point clearly doesn't lie on line AB. This means this point minus 2 and 1 is not a solution of the equation x plus 2y equals to 6. That is the meaning of point 3. Means any point which does not lie on line AB is not a solution of the equation. So these are the some of the common observations when we use graphical representation to solve the linear equations in two variable. Now we'll solve some of the questions to discuss more about the graphical representation, which are very important question on the exam point of view. So watch these questions very carefully. The first is we have to draw the graph of x plus y equals to 7. Now again we follow the same step. First we'll use hit and trial method to solve the values of x and y, or we'll assume the value of any variable to find the value of another variable. Suppose we take x as 0. What we get is 0 plus y equals to 7. So y will come out to be 7. So our first value is of x and y. This is x, this is y. Our first value of x is 0 and y is 7. Now suppose we assume the value of y as 0, we'll get x plus 0 equals to 7. We'll get x as 7. So we get x as 7 and y as 0. Now suppose we take x as 2. What we get is that 2 plus y equals to 7. So y is 7 minus 2, which is 5. So we get third value as x as 2 and y as 5. Now as discussed already, that we need at least 3 values to draw an equation, but we can use as many as values we want, but we should have at least 3 values to draw an equation. So in the next step we'll draw a Cartesian system. Again we use the number lines like this to represent the solution. This is y, this is y dash, this is x dash, and this is x. Now this is origin. Let me mark this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now let me mark this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and this is 7. Now since we have all positive values, will not matter if we'll not mark the negative values. So what we'll do is mark this as minus 1, minus 2 and minus 3, and we'll mark this as minus 1, minus 2 and minus 3. Now our first value is x as 0 and y as 7. So the value will come out to be this one. So this will be the value, since we have x as 0 and y as 7. So the point will lie on y axis. Our next point is x as 7 and y as 0. Since y is 0 and x is 7, so the point will lie on x axis. So the point will be this point. Third point is x as 2. This is x, and y as 5. So what we'll do is we draw a dotted line like this and like this to mark the intersection of this point. So this point is 2 and 5. So again what we'll do is we'll draw a straight line to join all the, let me draw it again. It will come out like this. Or we can assume this as a line. So So let me draw a line again. So this is the line. We can suppose this as a line. So this 3 points, this point and this point and this point, represent the line, or we can say this as the line x plus y equals to 7. So this is the line. Now let's discuss the next question. The question is, if the point 3 and 4 lies on the graph of the equation 3y equals to ax plus 7, find the value of a. Now this type of question are generally seen in examination, so watch this question carefully. Suppose we are given the point 3 and 4 which lies on the graph of this equation. So the point lies on the graph of this equation, so we have to find the value of a. Now suppose we need not to draw the graph for this equation. Why? We can solve it directly. If this point 3 and 4 lies on the graph of this equation, means this point 3 and 4 is the solution of this equation. So we can write it like this, that if the equation is 3y equals to ax plus 7, then if 3 and 4 is a solution of this equation, this means that these values of x and y must satisfy this equation. So this means we can put the values of x and y in this equation. So we'll write like this: 3 into y is 4, which is equals to a into 3 plus 7. So which is 12 equals to 3a plus 7. So it will be 12 minus 7, which is equals to 3a. So which is 5 equals to 3a, and a is 5 by 3. So this is a solution of a. So this is how we can find the value of a. So let's discuss the next question, which is the last question of the video. The question is, the taxi fare. This is also very important question. The taxi fare in the city is as follows. For the first kilometer, the fare is 8, and for the subsequent distance it is 5 per kilometer. If we take distance as x kilometer and total fare as y rupees, we have to write a linear equation for this information, and we have to draw its graph. So the question says, we have a taxi and its fare is distributed like this. If we take this as a first kilometer, and this as second, and this as third, for the first kilometer the taxi charges 8 rupees, and for the subsequent kilometer it charges rupees 5. So we have to make a linear equation for distance, which is taken as x, and for fare, which is taken as y. So we can see clearly in the question, for the first kilometer the fare charge is 8 rupees. So we can clearly see that if we divide the fare for the first kilometer in two parts as 5 plus 3, we can clearly see that the taxi charges rupees 5 for every kilometer, but it has a fixed cost as 3. Means, suppose if you hire a taxi, then at the time of hiring a taxi, it automatically charges a fixed part as 3, a fixed part as rupees 3, and variable, or we can say per kilometer, it charges rupees 5. So how we can make a linear equation for this? So for this equation we can write, if we total fare y as, now the total fare will depend upon the total distance traveled, which is x. Now the total distance traveled is x, but for every distance the charges are rupees 5 per kilometer. Means we have to multiply this variable x with 5 so as to get the total distance of the fare. But the taxi also charges a fixed charges rupees 3. So we have to add extra part as 3. So which makes the linear equation. So this is how we form a linear equation. Now again we have to draw its graph. It's very simple. Again we have to assume the values and draw the box, and using the Cartesian system we can draw the graph. Now suppose we take x as 1, we get y as 5 into 1 plus 3, so which is 5 plus 3, which is 8. So we get y as 8. Now suppose we draw the box again. The box is like this. Let me draw a box again. This is x, this is y. For the first value, x is 1 and y is 8. Now for the second value, if we assume x as 2, we get y as 5 into 2 plus 3. So y, it will come out to be 10 plus 3, which is 13. So x is 2, if you assume x as 2 and y will come out to be 13. Now again for the third value, if we assume x as 3, we'll get y as 5 into 3 plus 3. So it will come out to be 15 plus 3, which is 18. So it will come out to be, if we take y as 3, it will come out to be 18. So we got at least 3 values. What we can do further, we can use this value to draw a graph. So again we draw the Cartesian system like this, and we'll plot the values of this variable on this Cartesian system, and we'll get the values of equation, or we'll get the line of equation. So this is how we solve the equation, word equation, and word equation for linear equation in 2 variables, and we use a graphical representation to solve the equation. So thank you once again for watching this video on edupediaworld.com. Keep watching further videos. Have a nice day ahead.